Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching an ABC10 Plus recap of Thursday's top stories. A first-of-its-kind task force in California looks to solve cases of missing and murdered Indigenous people. Then we hit the back roads. John Bartel takes us to San Diego County to discover a hidden sculpture garden that explains how California got its name. The ABC10 Plus recap starts now. It's a historic first here in California, and it's happening in Sacramento County.
Yeah, for the first time, a sheriff's department, a DA's office, and a tribal government have come together to sign a memorandum of understanding. The goal, to take on the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous people, an issue that has largely been untracked and unresolved.
ABC 10's Devin Truby shows us how this new task force hopes to make a difference.
It started with a blessing, a spiritual moment for everyone in attendance and for those who weren't. The missing and murdered Indigenous people whose lives were cut short or never found.
These are not statistics. These are human beings.
California ranks 5th in the country for unsolved cases involving Indigenous people, and the numbers are heartbreaking. Indigenous people face a murder rate 10 times higher than the national average.
They are daughters, they are sons, they are sisters, they're mothers, people whose lives mattered.
Why Sacramento County is launching the state's first ever regional missing and murdered Indigenous people task force. District Attorney Tin Ho is providing a dedicated team, including a deputy DA, an investigator, and a victim advocate.
We run our own crime lab here in Sacramento, and with that crime lab, we will be able to expedite forensic testing to move a case along.
Sacramento Sheriff Jim Cooper is also stepping up, committing a team to revisit cold cases that may have slipped through the cracks.
Small rural counties that surround us, they're not very big. They don't have big populations, so their agencies are very small, where they have a few detectives and no one that specializes in homicide. I've got 3 homicide teams.
The sheriff's team is combing through old cases now and asking the community to come forward with any information they have.
Where the tribe could be helpful is that we know our people and we know our ways.
Hi, Devin Truby, ABC 10. I know this has been an issue for decades. How and why was the MOU able to come together now?
This man right here in the middle, I'll be honest with you, he came forward, his idea, and it was so important to improve the lives of Native Americans.
Assembly member James Ramos, who, when he came into the assembly, made this his #1 issue.
That was our Devin Truby reporting. The sheriff's office says they are already working one cold case right now. Cases in Sacramento County will get the priority, but the task force is open to expanding and including more counties.
California's ban on the sale of new gas-powered vehicles by 2035 is falling apart. Today, the U.S. Senate voted to revoke the waivers that allowed California to pursue that goal in the first place. And we have been following this journey of these waivers for months now. ABC 10's Becca Habegger shows us California is now threatening to sue.
Terrible day for your kids. Terrible day for air quality.
At a news conference Thursday, Governor Gavin Newsom accused Trump's GOP of making America smoggy again.
What this act did was allows polluters to pollute and pollute more.
In 2020, Newsom signed an executive order establishing a goal that 100% of in-state sales of new passenger cars and trucks will be zero emission by 2035.
We will be the first jurisdiction in the world to require all new cars to be sold to be alternative fuel cars.
Republicans opposed the move, calling it government overreach. But in order to enact the ban of the sale of new gas-powered vehicles, California would need to impose standards that are stricter than what federal regulations allow. So under the Biden administration, the EPA granted California 3 waivers.
So Newsom's edict.
Last month, however, Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley of Rockland introduced resolutions to revoke those waivers. They passed the House in April and the Senate Thursday.
Shameful what the United States Senate did today.
All those resolutions need now is the signature of President Donald Trump. If that happens, California Attorney General Rob Bonta says,
make no mistake,
I'll be seeing the Trump administration in court.
He and Newsom say the way Congress went about revoking the waivers is unlawful. Kylie's resolutions use something called the Congressional Review Act, or CRA. Both the nonpartisan U.S. Government Accountability Office and Senate parliamentarian have said the CRA does not apply here.
Overturning their own Senate parliamentarian, overturning their own GAO who said you cannot do this. That's why we're confident in our lawsuit.
The CRA has been in place for 30 years. It has never, ever, not once, been used to apply to a waiver.
Reacting to the Senate passing his resolutions, Kylie called it a victory.
It's a huge victory for sanity. It's a victory for all Californians to defend the basic right to be able to drive a car of your choice rather than one chosen for you by the government.
State Senator Roger Nilo's family has been in the car dealership business for more than a century. He says consumer demand should drive the market.
We're just into offering people choices. If they want electric cars, we will sell them electric cars. If they want gas cars, we want to be able to sell them those vehicles.
Newsom and Bonta say they are ready to file the lawsuit as soon as Trump officially revokes the waivers by signing the resolutions. In Sacramento, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
Both of California's senators are responding to today's vote. Senator Adam Schiff says in part, quote, today's vote will leave millions of Californians with dirtier air for generations to come. And by eliminating the filibuster to repeal clean air provisions, Senate Republicans have set a new standard that will haunt them in the future. Senator Padilla says he already placed a hold on EPA nominees going through the Senate confirmation process.
And now to continuing coverage of this small plane crash in San Diego. It left 3 people dead and more than a dozen homes caught on fire.
At least 100 people in the neighborhood were forced to evacuate. Here's the latest now from San Diego.
We got multiple explosions over here. We're doing evacuation. We got multiple houses on fire.
Homes and cars on fire in a San Diego neighborhood where officials say a small plane crashed just before 4 this morning while many people were still sleeping.
There was a crash. There was a big explosion. And I woke up and I looked out the window and there's fire all in front of my house.
Jessica Schrader says with her children trapped inside their home, she had seconds to make a choice.
We yelled for our neighbors. Our neighbors put a gate, a ladder up to their fence. We were able to climb the ladder and jump onto their trampoline to escape.
Authorities say the Cessna 550 jet was likely heading to nearby Montgomery Field when it went down. The pilot never communicated distress. These dramatic images showing where the plane came to rest on the street.
When it hit the street, as the jet fuel went down, it took out every single car that was on both sides of the street on fire.
These residents woke up to an explosion. Both of their cars and their home gone. Ben says despite serving 13 years in the Navy, this was the scariest experience of his life.
I'm not going to live over that flight line again.
Not under a flight,
between
yeah.
here and Montgomery, absolutely not. Flash woke me up, and feeling that immense heat is pretty crazy.
Their children were rescued by neighbor Gilbert Gonzalez.
As I walked up, there was a kid getting, brought over the fence. It was handed down to me. I said, give me the kid. And then a second kid came down. So I'm holding 2 kids at the time.
San Diego's police chief says more than 50 officers helped with evacuations. And this housing community is called Murphy Canyon. Officials saying it is one of the largest military housing communities in the world. So many military families impacted tonight. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, San Diego.
Just a heartbreaking scene. Jacqueline, thank you for that update. We've had live coverage of the crash on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app since 7 this morning. Right now, you'll find the full update from the NTSB on the home screen. The app is free to download to your TV. A man is accused of embezzling tens of thousands of dollars meant for a youth golf nonprofit program in Stockton.
He was just arrested this week, and ABC10's Gabriel Porras has the latest update.
Law enforcement and prosecutors say they are disappointed.
And you have this person who absolutely took advantage of their position.
For someone to steal money from kids and actually underrepresented, underserved kids is very, very disappointing.
But that's exactly what investigators believe Joseph Smith did while he was executive director of First Tee of San Joaquin.
In March, the First Tee, they reported to our office that they believed that somebody was taking money from that organization. Our investigation unit investigated it. They did find that about $85,000 was embezzled from the organization.
New court documents shedding light on what investigators believe the money was used for. Several Amazon purchases ranging from $300 to $500 each and around $27,000 paid to U.S. Food Service. Nonprofit leaders told investigators their organization doesn't serve food.
So this is somebody who had, unfortunately, that ability to take funds from this and embezzle that money.
Neither Smith nor his attorneys responded to our request for comment. In a search warrant, deputies wrote that while being arrested, Smith told them he, quote, had made mistakes and felt an overwhelming pressure to succeed, which caused him to use First Tee funds for other purposes. In a statement, First Tee of San Joaquin said they were saddened, writing in part, quote, we are dedicated to serving the kids of San Joaquin County through our mission. The board and staff will continue to provide educational programs that build character, instill life-enhancing values, and promote healthy choices through the game of golf as we move forward.
We're working very diligently on this case, seeing if there's any chance of getting this money returned and sending a message in our community that, not on my watch and not with our kids.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
Gabriel, thank you. Smith has been released from jail and he's due back in court next month.
An update now. The FBI is calling the shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staffers in Washington, D.C. an act of terror.
One man has been arrested accused of shooting the couple last night as they were leaving a celebration. Here's the latest now from Washington.
A memorial growing today in Washington, D.C. at the site where 2 Israeli embassy staffers were shot and killed last night. Flowers placed outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, where investigators say a gunman killed Yaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram. This card placed on the sidewalk reads, Yaron and Sarah, we will remember you, with love. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the couple was planning to get engaged in Jerusalem next week.
Yaron and Sarah weren't the victims of a random crime. The terrorists who cruelly gunned them down did so for one reason and one reason alone. He wanted to kill Jews.
Police in Washington say the suspected shooter is Elias Rodriguez from Chicago, heard shouting, Free Palestine after the shooting.
Free Palestine!
Video from inside the museum shows his arrest.
So he pulls out his keffiyeh and he says, I did it. I did it for Gaza.
Federal agents today in Chicago going inside what's believed to be the suspected shooter's home. FBI Director Kash Patel calls the shooting an act of terror.
The Department of Justice will be prosecuting the perpetrator responsible for this to the fullest extent of the law. Hatred has no place in the United States of America.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says security has increased in Washington, with U.S. Marshals working to keep the Israeli embassy safe.
Everyone is working together as a team. FBI, ATF, our U.S. Marshals are out here trying to protect everyone. But our Jewish community must feel safe.
Police say the suspect was seen pacing back and forth outside the museum before the shooting, and the FBI is trying to find out if he has any ties to terrorist organizations. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Perry, thank you. We continue to follow breaking news tonight, tracking the fight against the Midway fire in the area of Midway Road and Patterson Pass in Altamont. This is a view of the firefight right now. Air and ground resources are on scene battling the 262-acre fire. And we've just learned containment is now up to 50%. We're told all eastbound and westbound lanes of I-580 between Patterson Pass Road and I-205 are blocked at this time while crews battle the fire. Now keep in mind, this is a very busy thoroughfare, and this is all happening during the evening commute. Drivers are asked to find an alternate route. Stay with us for updates. Let's bring in meteorologist Brendan Minchiff now to talk more about fire conditions. It looks like firefighters are starting to make some progress on this fire, which is good news.
That is good news, but we know a lot of folks maybe have plans to travel for the holiday weekend, and it's something that we want to keep in mind when it comes to fire danger.
Yeah, that's right. And it's an onshore wind, right? It is the Delta breeze, but still, when things are so dry in the valley and you get these fields that are drying out as well, even with that wind, which is cooling and a wetter wind, a more humid wind, it can still take a while for for that fire danger to come down. So as we start with the forecast, I'm actually not going to start with the winds. I'm going to start with a look at the Alert California camera here. So we're looking west in towards Sacramento, and it's kind of hard to see the smoke plume here, but it's right here at the surface, and it's not quite as large as it was. This is the Silver Fire up in North Sacramento, not the Midway Fire down by 580. This one is the one in Sacramento that we are watching here at this hour. So this is something we're going to keep a close eye on, but at least from the plume, from the Alert California camera, that plume does look to be smaller than it has been. Wind speeds still are strong, and like I said, even though it's an onshore wind, that wind still will drive the fire around. So it's 18-mile-per-hour sustained wind right now here in Sacramento, but winds 25 out in Fairfield, 23 in Stockton, 21 in Modesto, and then when we look at the gusts, closer to 30 to 35 up and down the valley and through the Delta as well. So kind of double-edged sword here with the wind. It helps to cool us off, brings that humidity back up, but at the same time, it does lead to that elevated fire danger. Humidity right now, 26% in Sacramento, 28% in Fairfield, 22% Stockton, and 18% down in Modesto. So it's going to take a little bit for those relative humidity values to climb up. Good news is temperatures are not extremely high. We made it into the mid-80s today, but we're already in the upper 70s to low 80s in the valley. 81 in Sacramento, 81 in Stockton, 80 Manteca, 82 Modesto, 76 Jackson, 77 in Auburn, 64 in Truckee, and 64 in South Lake Tahoe as well. We're going to start off near 50 tomorrow, even some upper 40s in parts of the valley for Friday. Cool and a few clouds overnight. Tomorrow is going to be kind of the bottom of this cooling trend here. We're only going to reach into those low 80s. Parts of the valley may only climb into the upper 70s for highs on Friday. The average high is 82. We're going to be near that, if not a couple degrees cooler than our average high to end the work week. So sunny and very mild tomorrow. 81 Sacramento, 81 in Elk Grove, 81 Stockton, 80 Manteca, 81 Modesto, 83 in Marysville, 85 up in Colusa, 81 Clear Lake, 70s, mid-70s across the foothills, 68 in Truckee, and 66 in South Lake Tahoe. And as we take a peek at the weekend forecast, very, very nice, very seasonal. 86 on Saturday, and then we're looking at low to mid 80s for Sunday and Monday. So again, staying very seasonal through the weekend, but the pattern does change once we get past the long weekend. High pressure starts to build in, and then it just kind of sits there as we end the month of May and begin the month of June. So that heat really builds. I'm mainly watching between about May 29th and June 1st. Our first high temperatures of the year near 100 degrees are absolutely possible. Again, this is a week, a little more than a week away, so it's something we're just watching for now. But do be aware, you're going to see that big jump in temperatures coming as we go towards the end of the forecast period here. So 80s through the weekend, very nice, very seasonal. Gets a little warmer next work week, and then there you go at the end of the 10-day there. Oof, triple digits.
But a beautiful Memorial Day weekend for all those ceremonies and parades that'll be happening and barbecues.
Yeah, it's hard to ask for better weather. Low 80s this time of year. Can't beat it.
Enjoy the weekend while we can, because it's about to get hot out there, huh?
Yep.
Oh, my.
Okay, Brendan, thank you.
Well, it's the hidden sculpture garden that impresses anyone who finds it. John Bartel here, making a little pit stop at Queen Califia's Magical Circle Garden in Escondido. There are multiple theories on how California got its name. But locked behind this gate at Kit Carson Park in Escondido, there's a colorful sculpture garden depicting the legend of Queen Calafia and her army of woman warriors.
She decided she was going to take a trip aboard her Griffin birds to find the Island of Gold. So when she landed on the Island of Gold, all of her warriors were so impressed with this find and what she had done for them, they decided to name it California.
This is Marty Tiedemann, docent coordinator for Queen Calafia's Magical Circle, and the colorful sculptures on display were created by French artist Nikki de Saint-Phal.
Everything in this garden is done by hand by the artisans.
Nikki was a sculptor, painter, filmmaker, and model. Her colorful sculptures can be found all over the world, but what sets her apart from other artists is her use of unique ceramic tile and stone.
Semi-precious and precious stones from around the world. Nikki kind of collected them. She was amazed with texture and color.
Not only was Nikki inspired by the story of Queen Calafia, but also California's plants and animals. Snakes are a reoccurring theme in her artwork, and they surround the border of the sculpture garden. Marty says they represent getting over fear.
She wanted to make sure it was friendly, it was smiling, it didn't have fangs.
In the center of the garden is a representation of Queen Calafia riding the bird that brought her to California. It's a sculpture that was built to look at and be touched.
So everything had to be tumbled and polished and cut smooth and so on, because she wanted people to touch it and to interact with it.
Each sculpture is loaded with detail and symbolism, but much like how Queen Calafia had to find California, visitors must find the sculpture garden themselves. Nikki made the decision to put her artwork in a remote part of Kit Carson Park.
And her gardens were a very special place for her.
So she kind of wanted people to discover it.
Yes.
Queen Calafia was Nikki de St. Paul's last art piece. She died from lung disease just a few months before the sculpture garden opened to the public in 2002. But her legacy lives on here in the park.
Just to learn about Nikki, it's kind of put Escondido on the map a little bit.
From Queen Califia's magical circle garden, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
All right, we're telling you about something called In a Nutshell, and every month it hosts 4 storytellers from various backgrounds, each of them sharing a true story on a unique theme. So these kinds of events really encourage storytellers to explore something new. And Marcus Allen is live at the Sophia in Sacramento. And Mark, this is just such a cool, unique type of event.
It's not only a cool event, it's a great place to see a cool event like this. The Sophia, if you've not seen a play here, if you've not seen live music or comedy, you need to. Now, I think I mistakenly said this was a comedy show. There's comedy in it, but also really poignant moments. I'd like to tell you more, but I've exhausted all I know about it. Oh, Keith, if you would, step into frame. This is Keith Lowell Jensen, famous comedian, tours the world, well-respected, award-winning, but now this, why this, where'd it come from?
Just to have the shackles taken off from what you can do in a stand-up club, to be able to tell stories that maybe evoke some tears, some anger. It's great, and I still love stand-up, and I'll still keep doing stand-up. But to have somewhere I can go to just tell good stories outside of that framework is amazing.
And something that I know that's important to you, you don't want all the same type of person telling stories, so you're looking from people from all cultures, all walks of life, all kinds of stories from unique places.
You want a diverse group of storytellers for sure, and you want people to see themselves on stage, but then also to hear something that's totally outside of their realm of experience and learn something.
And so if people invest and they see the show, and they will and should, they're going to see some famous people, some people that they've seen before, but then also people from all walks of life that have never been on a stage before.
I'll talk to someone and within 2 minutes I'll be like, oh, this person knows how to tell a story. Yeah, and I'll start kind of cultivating them to come be a storyteller. But then we also have, like I mentioned before, JP Ferrari, 10-time Moth Grand Slam winner, who are these world-renowned storytellers that are the best of the business.
Now, if people want to see the show, the food or beverage, 2-drink minimum, how does this differ or resemble a comedy club?
No 2-drink minimum, no microwave nachos, but there is a full bar. You can get a nice drink here, you can get some snacks. Coming down. You have dinner next door at T-Bar beforehand, or Bernardo's over on the other side.
Yeah, it's awesome. Midtown at its best, and architecturally, this is one of my favorite theaters in the world, and I'm a theater geek. Back to you.
Okay, I'm learning so much, Mark, because I've never knew about the Sophia, so this is incredible, but now I know where it is, between T-Bar and Cafe Bernardo. So I have one more question for Keith. He says they find people to participate. So do they take any kind of submissions at all? Or is it really they just find people and bring them in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Where do you find these people? Like, are you checking out at the gas station and go, hey, you would be a great person to tell a story?
Yeah, we do some of that, and that's where we get some of the most interesting storytellers and set ourselves apart from the other shows. But then we also go to the other shows and we steal their best. Have you seen me at a storytelling show in the Bay Area? I'm scouting.
Got it. He's a story poacher at the end of the day.
Headhunter.
All right, it's tomorrow night in a nutshell at the Sophia. I'll link the information to abc10.com. Great question, Jordan. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Marcus Allen, and thank you, Keith. Sounds like it's going to be a great night tomorrow.
Thank you so much for watching this ABC 10 Plus recap. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.